Vienna, 1957. A former concentration camp inmate and an SS officer meet by chance after the war, reenacting their sado-masochistic relationship. Under different circumstances and in a political climate which sharply denounces the crimes of the Holocaust. Max, played by Dirk Bogarde, is hiding in the shadows from his shameful past, working as the titular night porter in a noble Viennese hotel. Lucia, played by Charlotte Rampling, is now the wife of a successful American conductor. The past seems to be erased forever, locked deep inside the unconscious of a nation which would rather ignore what had occurred, paranoid of former prisoners testifying against their guards. The provocation of the night porter, which contemporary critics deemed romantic pornography, relates to an obvious link between sadism and fascism. The film was considered exploitative. Even Pauline Kael went on to call it humanly and aesthetically offensive. It can easily be thrown in next to Tinto Brass's campy Nazi-ploitation film Salon Kitty, appropriating far-out sex with the crude, unreflected appeal of Nazi chic. But wouldn't this be too easy? Cavani's film rather details the processing of a deeply troubled historical period and the horror living on in the people who survived, trying to understand both the victim and the victimizer as complex creatures. Underlying all this is not an entertaining and titillating thrill, but the symbolic self-destruction of sexual politics itself. Centering on a perverted, essentially doomed and obsessive relationship, Bogarde and Rampling develop a toxic codependency leading to their certain ruin. During their time together, memories from the concentration camp keep coming back, toned-down images in an emotionally detached, cold environment, so distant and stiffly erotic it becomes surreal. The vision of a nightmarish, no longer historicized realm of subjective trauma. However, Night Porter doesn't hide its dichotomy from which conflicting emotions must arise either. Rampling's grotesque Marlene Dietrich number in partial SS uniform, topless and in suspenders, asserts a sexual fetish to the aura of power and dominance associated with this kind of aesthetic. Cavani's film, which is perhaps more a slow and existential melodrama or meditation, is one of a few attempts from Italian leftist intellectual directors to deal with this kind of subject matter in the 1970s, including contemporaries Bertolucci, Lina Wertmüller, Luchino Visconti, and Pasolini. For their psychologically scarred protagonists, there is no cure for the past.